Nick Vujicic, thank you so much for being with us today. Thanks for your time. I know you're a really, really busy guy. And we were told that you're going to be having this conference online for Chile, exclusive for our country. So how come? Why Chile?
Yeah, look, even though I live in the United States, I have many friends in many countries, and I'm very well aware of what's happening in the uncertain times of 2020 globally, but also in Chile, and just a lot of unrest, a lot of uncertainties. And so in this time of me actually not traveling, of course, around the world, I've now had to force myself in how do we really bring messages of hope to people as much and effectively as we can, given the restraints. And so very excited to be doing this exclusively for Chileans and for them to know that I'm thinking of them, to try and motivate them, empower them, inspire them, to never give up, and to change maybe our reframing of challenges to know that it's only going to make us stronger.
So in current times, you just said around the world, not only in our country, what is your message to Chileans?
Look, to everyone all around the world, it's the same thing, and not just because of COVID, but because we're all looking for hope, we're all looking for strength. But really, it's understanding how we all feel things, and we can't just suppress or oppress or ignore or deny what we feel, but to process, to deal with those emotions, embracing those emotions is something that I've had to learn about me. Because we're human beings, not doings, and when we're human beings, we're also human feelings, and how we feel, and is really important, especially with the decisions that we have to make and the perspectives of challenges and resistance. The second thing that I want to talk about is the attitude of gratitude, being thankful for what we still have, but also what could have gone even worse. And then thirdly, I'll be talking about how do we see obstacles in the midst of opportunities in the midst of obstacles. And the last one is about goals. How do we build up our confidence and our courage, and how do we take one step at a time in practical measures?
Now, for those that are really struggling this time and kind of like have lost their faith, there is not much to look forward to. There is a lot of not only uncertainty, but a fear of what's coming. How do you encourage them? How do you make them still believe in what could come, could be better?
Yeah, look, it's definitely going to be unpacked, more when we're going to be doing the presentation. But it's never about me saying that I'm, in more or less pain than somebody else. It's having the optimism of a vision, and trying to relate the importance of living in the present, but never forgetting where we came from, and not losing sight of the importance of a vision. Now, whether that's for your faith, you personally, your family, your friends, or even your finance, it's always about vision, because we always have to move ahead. And so what I try to help people understand is not that we just go through things, we grow through things. And many people see me as resilient, but that's only because I've been through a lot of resistance. When you've been through a lot of resistance, you become resilient. Without the resistance, there is no resilience. And so it does make us stronger. And this is not the last crisis, nor the first crisis that we've all had. And I know Chile has gone through a lot of things over the last decade in particularly.
How have you managed to stay optimistic in times where a lot of people has questioned their own life, their own reality, their priorities? COVID hasn't been, the pandemic hasn't been easy for anybody. Nor the States, where you've had tons of cases and death, sadly. How has your routine changed? For example, you used to travel a lot. You didn't for most part of this year, right?
Right. Yeah, we had no income for about 7 months straight. And it's been quite an interesting thing, where it took a bit of time for people to realize that we are all going virtually. In that, I'm glad that I don't have to travel, because I'm with my family. I have two boys, 7 and 5 years old, and twin girls of 3. And so, really, really thankful for it, the no travel. But look, I'm always a transparent and authentic speaker. You know, what you see is what you get with me. In March, April, I went through anxiety and numbness and panic within a 6-week period. And then in September, I went through some anger. And so it's really important to understand that we do all go through those higher highs and lower lows. But, you know, those practical steps I'm going to be sharing about how I, not only about my life or my life story, but over the crises of my life, these are the 4 pillars that have helped me to become who I am and not get stuck in the yuck.
Well, that sounds just wonderful. It's a matter of making it happen, right? Nick, and finally, for those that not necessarily have faith as a main route or strength, as you've mentioned several times, for those just that get up every morning and see themselves in the mirror and kind of like have to really breathe deeply to find the strength to keep on going, what are your tips? What are your advice? What is what you could tell them, especially nowadays?
You know, I feel like a lot of us, you know, when we talk about entrepreneurship for a second, or our lives, you know, it feels like whatever ship we were on just sank, and we're on a lifeboat. And some of us, you know, when you don't have any landmarks and you keep on paddling and paddling and paddling, you don't know how much progress you're really making. I really encourage people to start journaling. Journal what you feel, journal what's going on, so you can actually reflect. I'll be talking about how important it is to, you know, talk to your friends and maybe even get counseling. I'm going through counseling this year, actually, but just because 2020 was so messed up for me too. And you can't not afford to invest in your mental health on that level. But really what I realized as well is we actually made more progress in 2020 than we think. I'm really careful with who I surround. I'll tell you in a second. So not maybe progress towards a goal, but progress in, we figured out a lot. We went already through a lot. And what I mean is this, is understanding that we've got to be careful with what you watch and how much you watch the news. You got to be careful with who you surround yourself with, because they might get you hijacked on your fear. But just give yourself some credit. You're still here. You know, that was a crazy year. It felt like the world news was changing every week. And now it's a little less stable in some aspects, but a little bit more stable in some other aspects. And what I try to do with people is help people to actually even write out their short-term goals. And while they are accomplishing them, they cross them off the list as they accomplish it. And that way you can see the progress of your own little steps, and little chiquitita, little steps, un día a la vez. And that's what we're going to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. You can't get overwhelmed. You don't know what's going to happen next month, but okay, this is where I am. This is what I feel. This is what I know. And today, this is what I'm going to try to do.
Well, let's hope that that same optimism you just share with everybody gets into a lot of young people's heart, because they really need it. I appreciate your time. Hope that Thursday everything goes just thumbs up. And thank you so much for your time.
Love you. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you for your time. Bye.